He's got, oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it!
And will this be enough? My God, ready to take it! 1, 2.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrestling. I am Josh Maber alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good. Had a pretty slow night at work, so I think that allowed me to get out on time, so we are on time.
Awesome. Well, it's always a pleasure. And also, thank you to everyone who did jump in and kind of watched along with us. I know Justin jumped in with the chat. He was watching with his buddies. And I know a couple others jumped in and commented on it, so that was a pretty fun night with that. But before we get into that, let's get into the news of where we are in the wrestling world. The big one, which it seems to unfortunately keep happening to him. I don't know what it is. Maybe age. I don't know what it is, but he's becoming brittle, so to speak. But unfortunately, CM Punk did get injured in the Royal Rumble and is out 4 to 6 months. Justin, tell us a little bit more in detail.
Yes. So some people noticed it during the show. I didn't really notice it. That not long after, pretty much like right after he took Drew McIntyre's Future Shock DDT during the Rumble match, that he mainly went over and talked to two referees real quickly. And after that, people noticed he was kind of like, seemed like Punk was a little off. Some people thought maybe he was gassed. I thought maybe he looked like a little winded. But then word got out on Sunday that he may have gotten injured, and that it may have been a tricep tear, like what happened when he fought Moxley at All Out. Before the brawl with the Elite happened backstage. He confirmed it himself on Raw. He came out with a sling. It's not the same one. That was his left one. He tore his tricep. It's just a freak accident. I know some people are wondering about, him being brittle. I'll describe to what Punk said. It was just bad. It's just bad luck. He was taking a routine move that Drew has done hundreds and hundreds of times to people over the years. That's one of his signature moves is the Future Shock DDT, and it's just maybe it's like it just, he may have just landed wrong off the move. Who knows? It's like it was. I think it's just bad luck. It's just a freak injury, which sucks because now the really awesome match of Seth Rollins and CM Punk is now out the window, flushed down the toilet for this year, because they're both injured, and we don't even know if Seth's going to be able to even wrestle at WrestleMania. It's like that's not a guarantee either. But Punk for sure is definitely out. I mean, it takes he could be it's like 4 to 6 months typically for a tricep tear. So it's like we may not see him until sometime between anywhere from July to September. He'll be back. Yeah. Which, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, he could have been an ACL tear, could have been gone for a year. So he kind of, I think, it sucks for Mania, but thankfully long term, it's not terrible. It's not like, like Cora Jade or Charlotte Flair going out for nearly a year with ACL tears, or Seth thankfully didn't get an ACL tear towards MCL. So, I just feel bad for Punk because we'll get into more, but like you can see the emotion on his face where it's like, he said, he goes, I'm glad. I like how he said it in the promo where it's like he goes, "This is just a flesh room. It's a bump of the road. It's not the it's not the end." I may not have gotten to do WrestleMania this year, but there's always next year.
Right.
So it's like, it sucks. And
Yeah.
now it's like outside of, Cody Roman, it's like the main event possibilities for night one are just like all completely up in the air.
Yeah. And with other things happening, I mean, it's all up in the air. We'll kind of get into that when we get into the McMahon stuff to kind of lead, and also how that's impacting WrestleMania as well. But yeah, this just stinks. There's a video of a backstage moment between Cody and
Yeah, I saw it.
and CM Punk was very well, not extremely emotional, but you can tell he was emotional, and just kind of was holding back tears and just kind of like gave him a 5 and just said, go finish your story, buddy.
Yeah, they hugged. Yeah,
it's just like, ugh.
I really like that. I'm glad that they put that out. It's like because like they said, it's like Cody and Punk are actually really tight. They're really good friends, and they brought a lot of that emotion then when they had that face off before the Rumble. So I thought that was really heartwarming to see. Cody coming up to give him some support, and him giving it back, saying go win at WrestleMania, dude. It's like. So I like that. That's what we all want. We want Cody to finish the damn story. It's like what some people want. It's like all these people who want Roman and Rock at WrestleMania, or they want him to pass Hogan. It's like Hogan doesn't have a record. It's like the ultimate title reign record belongs to Bruno Sammartino, which will never be touched. He was champion for like 13 freaking years.
Right.
It's like that's never going to be touched.
No, and he only wrestled. He wrestled like 3 times a year or something like that.
It's like that was a whole different era.
Yeah,
it's like, like Bob Backlund had a stronger championship reign than Hogan.
Right.
It's like that was like 5-6 years, something like that. Like, forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like fuck. I say fuck all that shit. It's like it's Cody's time. I mean, I saw a funny statistic, and it made me realize just how well protected Cody is. Since he's been back, the only person who's pinned him in a match was Roman at WrestleMania last year. He has not lost a one-on-one singles match since he came back to WWE. What does that tell you?
And he wrestled the most matches out of anybody last year. So.
It's eventually going to be his time. It's like,
I mean, it should have been his time last year.
It should have been last year, but Triple H decided for some stupid reason to drag it out. But we're getting closer to it's like him being the top guy, which he should be.
And he is the top guy, and
everyone's pulling for him because he's so real and relatable. He's down to earth. He's not doesn't come off as manufactured. It's like he really is able to like connect to the fans. So
correct, because that's the thing.
It's like Punk. That's why people love Punk. It's the same thing. It's
and it's the same thing with you see some people online being trying to explain that they're forcing Cody down our throat like Roman. I was like, no. This is night and day, man. Cody literally connects with the crowd organically, and you hear the cheers. It's not booing. The only time there's ever been a like, let's go Cody, is when he was out there CM Punk, where like, let's go Cody, CM Punk, that whole thing. Like that was the only time you really had the crowd split. But everything else,
the crowd was torn because they love Cody, they love Punk, so it was like they were torn about who to cheer for.
Plus, every promo that Cody cuts is you can feel the raw, the realness, the the emotion coming out. Whereas the suffer and succotash days of Roman getting shoved down our throat, every promo seems so manufactured, whereas the Roman that we have now is you can connect with it. The promos that he cuts now or organic. I said organic already, but that's the thing. You feel the authenticity with these promos that either Cody and Roman cut nowadays, whereas the Roman back then, I was just like, Vince McMahon wants me to say this stuff, even though I would never say it in a day in my life.
Yeah.
And it just never came across right, and they just kept shoving Roman down our throats. And it was the first time ever that I was like, I could get behind Roman was when he beat the Undertaker and after WrestleMania,
Yeah,
and he comes out with the Dominic heat. And then just
Yeah.
goes, "This is my yard now," and that was the most real promo Roman Reigns cut in like 3 years.
Yeah,
All
and
he
then
said
they
was like
didn't-
4
and
words.
then they didn't. It's like they should have turned him heel then, but they it's like Vince was just was being his stupid ass self and didn't follow through with it. You know, it's like, I mean, it's like, yeah. But as far as WrestleMania, it's we'll get more to it because of what Seth's trying to do. It's like I see what they're doing because of just what's going on between, Punk is out, is not going to be able to heal up in time for Mania. Seth is still questionable for Mania. It's like he says he intends to be able to wrestle Mania, but that's not a guarantee. It's like it's up to the doctors. So it leaves up like what's going to happen with night one, because like Cody Roman's going to Cody Roman's going to happen, which it's still I think is what's going to happen. That's night two to close out the show. So like I think because of this situation, I think this opens a door, and I think they should go for it. Is to let one of the ladies' title matches main event night one. It's been a while since that happened. Last time it's like not since Sasha versus Bianca 3 years ago has the women gotten one of the main event slots for WrestleMania. So I don't know. It'd be cool. I don't know if they'll go Bailey Io, which I think is going to be the plan, because it's like,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's like yeah, she's been saying for a while that if she won the Rumble, she's going to challenge Rhea, but it's like it's like no, it's like it's very obvious that the path for Rhea is to face Becky, because that's been built and teased for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so. Either one would be cool to see in the main event. Probably, I think if they're going to do that, they'll probably go Becky Rhea, because just how over those two are. It's that could easily serve as your night one main event, and that would be cool. So
yeah,
we shall see.
It depends on how they build Gunther, and if they pull the trigger on Gunther Seth. Pretty much at this point is my thing. Is if they pull the trigger on that, I don't know how. We shall see. But yeah, just get well soon, Punk.
Yep.
For as short as this little bit has been, it has been you show why he is where he is.
No, he's been killing it, and man, it's like the pop when he returns will be on the same level as when he returned to WWE at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. So to quote the guy's entrance, as far as our next story, let's go, because Pat McAfee is back on commentary on Monday Night Raw. There was a shakeup with SmackDown as well, where Corey Graves is taking over the play-by-play, and Wade Barrett is doing the color. Is that correct?
That's what everyone assumes, because last week we didn't really touch on it, but word got out that not only was Kevin Patrick taken off of the SmackDown announce desk, but apparently was let go from coming completely, which I was just like, oh, geez, that sucks. Feel sorry for him. Yeah, because McAfee came back for the Rumble. He was on the Rumble with Cole and Graves, which is fun. And then he came. Then I was surprised when I was watching Raw. He came out, and I was like, oh. And then Cole revealed right to the camera that it's him and Pat going forward for the time being. This makes sense because number one, Michael Cole absolutely adores Pat McAfee. They're bros. They're brochachos, so to speak. To borrow that term from Cole and MJF. They are brochachos for life. And Cole has said many times that it's like working with Pat kind of helped rejuvenate him. It gave him like new energy. And so of course he'd be thrilled. It's like, and plus with college football over, he's open now to come back to do the commentary work. And I think they'll work something out because how they have great chemistry, and with Raw moving to Netflix next year, I see that they would want McAfee and Cole on the flagship show.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is if it's Corey and Barrett, they've both worked heel for quite some time now. It's like you can't have heel announcers working together.
Yeah.
So you gotta have where it's like it's either you have two baby faces or you have a face heel. Like Cole and McAfee are both for the good guys. So it's like that's how it normally is. It's like it's very so it's like if Corey's going to take in Cole's slot, I would think he's going to tone down the heelish comments and let Wade carry that load, which he's really good at too. So it's like we'll see. It's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be this. I'm actually kind of intrigued with it.
Yeah.
Cole is just on a different. Something about McAfee when Cole's around him is just a totally different level.
Yeah.
Is he as good as Corey Graves? No, but the combination of McAfee with Cole is a lot better than Graves. Even though Graves is great, I mean Graves is such a natural.
The chemistry is really strong between the two of them, even more than him and Corey are great together. But like him and McAfee have developed a special rapport. So.
And it's basically kind of the thing. And that was always the Triple H always said, is we try to make it work, but it's just too much logistics as far as, him trying to do commentary on top of, doing his show and traveling with ESPN to, do his shows and stuff like that. So, cause like a lot of times they were doing shows on Friday, they're doing their McAfee's live show on Friday at a college campus, which, if he was doing SmackDown at the time with Cole, he would have to travel and then travel to his campus and stuff like that. So when he struck that deal with ESPN, it just logistically was not in the cards. Whereas now that NCAA football is done for at least the next.
Yeah, and even when college football comes back, since that's on the weekend and Raw's on Monday, it makes it a lot easier for him to be able to make. It's like so it totally makes sense that it's like they moved them to do Raw because that way. McAfee can still do college football stuff for ESPN in the fall, but he won't be able, but he'll still be able to make Raw on Monday.
Right, and it'll be because they have all this time for Nick Khan and whoever to negotiate with ESPN to make sure that they can get McAfee's show because obviously they still go live with Pat McAfee show Monday through Friday, so they still have enough time to figure out logistics of okay, I still do college football. Then I fly, they have at least 24 or right around 48, a little less than 48 hours to figure out on getting all the equipment to the McAfee show. Yeah. And they might, a lot of times what he did, he would just set up like a rolling studio, basically, is what they would do. But now that they have ESPN production behind him, it might be a little bit better setup. I don't know if they might do a kind of a joint venture with Raw, so he would be kind of they would do the show in the arena. They might do one of those things with that. So it'll be interesting to see if they could keep this going for when college football starts back up. But I'm excited. I mean, I think McAfee always brings such good energy, and his comments he always has a good one-liners here and there. He points out when someone gets picked up on the live mic, he picks them up over that. So he makes those really small comments and really kind of breaks the fourth wall a lot with the production and with the show that I really enjoy. And like you said, the main thing is what he rejuvenates Cole.
Yeah.
All that time. So
Cole happy, and it also gives Graves an opportunity to change things up too. It's like
a little bit more responsibility there.
Yeah, I wish somehow Mauro Ranallo could come back, but I just don't see that happening, which is kind of sucks because I miss him. But it's like Booker T isn't perfect, but him and Vic have developed a good rapport on NXT. So it's like not everything Booker T says. I love I love Booker T personally, but it's like sometimes the commentary, it's like he's not always like firing on all cylinders, but it's like he still gets in some good stuff. So it's like it's not the worst. So, but it's gonna be very to see what how SmackDown's gonna be without Cole.
Yeah, so it'll be. But I'm excited to see how it's going to work, and only tomorrow will tell how it's kind of going to play.
Find
I
out.
think there's going to be some speed bumps in tomorrow's show with Corey's new spot and how Wade and him kind of. I think they'll be fine. They just got to get their footing. Whereas McAfee and Cole never lost a step.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that. And to kind of wrap here with a couple of nuggets with the updates today, that's what kind of wasn't on our rundown we talked about before, but the McMahon scandal update. So a couple of things, two big things. He still has yet to be named, but with all the reports coming out of how much stuff they are just not involving him in, is looking like Brock Lesnar was that unnamed UFC person more and more allegedly that was who it was, because number one, Braun Breaker was apparently the reports came out that Braun Breaker didn't take his spot per se. I think that was McAfee's spot that they ended up giving him. That's why I kind of feel like a wasted spot. So that was probably McAfee's spot that they gave him, but they gave Braun Breaker his eliminations and stuff like that. And people are like, really? So Dominic Mysterio was supposed to eliminate Brock Lesnar? Apparently it was. Apparently Elimination Chamber, it was Dominic Mysterio and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, apparently that was the plan. So
I mean, if you're gonna get heat off of Brock, give him Dom, I guess. So
because then the fans will love Brock absolutely murderizing Dominic at Elimination Chamber.
Well, they don't love him anymore. So allegedly, I keep wanting to say that. Once this video gets found, I don't want any of those.
So it's like that stuff's out. It's like and the dream match of Gunther Brock at Mania is apparently also flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. So that's done. It looks like a lot of the video game stuff, we'll see how much they completely just might do away with his character. That's kind of the scuttlebutt right now with that. Or at least they're pulling back on some video game related things that's involving him.
Yeah, we'll see about
They haven't come out. They say they might go into eliminate him wholly. So I don't know if that's means that they're just not kind of like Chris Benoit the thing and just not even acknowledge his existence.
Well, I think that's what they're going to do with Vince once this is all over with.
Yeah. And the last little thing that we have is Johnny Ace, Johnny Laurinaitis, is basically trying to throw Vince McMahon under the bus and says, "No, I didn't cover it up. You victimized me. You forced me to do.
I'm the victim.
I'm the victim." So there's a lot of when they're both caught and then they just start griping at each other, type of thing. Where they're, it's like that scene from the like any movie or TV show where they're both in handcuffs and just got caught and they start bitching at each other while cops are pulling them away.
Yeah, it's like
I just picture that.
Yeah, it's like word came out. A lawyer representing Laurinaitis in the case made some statements to the media. Said that he is also a victim of Vince's awfulness, and not a predator. It's like and basically trying to throw Vince under the bus and making himself look like a victim just as much as the ladies are. So it's like very interesting. So they're not on the same page. So it's like he's trying to save his own ass, and he's willing to throw Vince further underneath the bus wheels at this point to try to get himself out of the who's gout. So,
and the last little thing about this, Shawn Michaels had his media scrum today. Shawn, and I read some of Shawn. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp. Obviously, he is a very big friend of the show. That he doesn't know us, but we read a lot of his stuff. So thank you for all your hard work. That allows us to regurgitate it on here and give us our opinions on that. But he basically was detailing his, showing what Shawn Michaels was saying, and it basically was like culture change.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what too. The victim basically, she wants justice to change the culture that is going on. And this is from the victim's attorney, that she was once just as because she wants to change the culture that is going on in WWE, she wants to help other victims. She thinks by speaking out and coming forward first, that others will feel emboldened and encouraged to come forth as well. So that's kind of what Shawn Michaels are alluding to, is saying, we're doing everything we can to basically go, let this move on from this, not move on, but also learn from it. It's kind of what a lot of the comments are. I know Triple H was kind of short about it.
Shawn had some good answers in the press conference for for Vengeance Day that's going to happen this week on Sunday night. Very much in the kind of like in the vein of Cody Rhodes, what Cody's comments were in the post presser. We'll go over more of that when we get to the Rumble. I also want to highlight my friend James here in the chat. Yeah. It's like it's kind of hard to believe Johnny Ace at this point. It's like he's not exactly trustworthy material. It's like he's had his own allegations and people calling him out for his shit over the years, even before this this stuff with McMahon came out. So he's just trying to save his own ass. We'll see how successful.
Speaking about Yes Man, Bruce Pritchard is having the story about him having tricep surgery or something. Like, as everyone's injuring their tricep, like what's going on?
Well, and also, speaking of surgery, it came out on Twitter. Jim Ross said that he had to have surgery on his hip to remove some cancer. Sending out well wishes. Thank everyone fans for the love and support. So get well soon, JR. We don't want to lose you right now. Not yet, anyway.
No. And then the last little thing, as far as we know, Mercedes Mone will be all elite till March.
All the signs are pointing to that at this point. It's been rumored for months that she was going to be probably signing there, if she isn't already. If WWE was going to be able to lure her back, this would be the time. But I think it makes sense for me that she's going to give AEW a shot because it's something different. She can help super boost the women's division in AEW, and there's a lot of great talent there that she can work with. Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, and then Britt and Hayter when they're back from injury. It's like with her coming in and eventually those two coming back from injury, the AEW women's division will be the best it's ever been, and hopefully the booking will help continue to improve to reflect that. Also, working for AEW will allow her to continue to do stuff in Japan, which she's been wanting, which she started to do, what she was doing before she got injured last year in that match with Willow. So it's a win-win for her. So she can still do like New Japan stuff and work in the States. So I totally see why she would want to take a shot with AEW.
Plus, they're paying her more apparently. So
probably
because that's the one thing that yes, you would want all the four horsewomen back in WWE, and especially with Naomi coming back and all that stuff, you would think, oh yeah, it's going to open the door.
Yeah,
and apparently she just was like, well, this is how much money I want, and AEW is allowing me to still do stuff over in Japan, and who really knows? But the thing is AEW really needs Mercedes. WWE's fine, especially in the women's division.
That's the thing. It's like AEW needs her. WWE could use her, but they don't need her. Not with how stacked WWE's women's division is right now.
No.
It's like it's just like they got just so many stars right now. It's an embarrassment of riches. Because with the current, like her coming back would have fit in perfectly with the storyline that's building toward Damage Control turning on Bayley, and Sasha returns to help her best friend against Damage Control. It would have made perfect sense. It would have worked great. But that's not going to happen apparently. So and it's like I'm okay with that. I would like to see what she can do in AEW, and maybe she can help steer the booking in a better direction, and maybe to give some good advice to Tony about like what needs to be done. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. And right now it is becoming dead up a bidding war for Okada because it's right now it feels very 50-50.
Yeah, it could go either. It could go. I still give the edge to AEW if he still wants to do Japan stuff. But if the allure of working WrestleMania trumps that, don't be surprised.
No. And if there's one dude that's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, AEW needs stars right now. Even though they still have a solid roster, but they just need some stars. Mercedes will definitely boost that. Okada could boost that, but he's also
Ospreay's going to be coming in soon.
Yeah,
his stuff with New Japan is over with.
That's
it's just about over with. So he's going to be ready. Like he's definitely going to have there. He's probably going to have a match at Revolution because his contract expires. It's like pretty very very imminently. So he's going to be a regular fixture on AEW television very soon. So so that's definitely going to help. Because they do that right now with all the injuries that they've gone through. I mean, Omega and MJF are both out for it's like we're not. Poor Omega, we don't even know when he's going to be back. MJF's we may not be seeing for many months. So it's like, and then you got women's divisions loaded with injuries. It's like Cole's still out. It's like
yeah.
They need the boost. Yeah, it's like injuries that can be killer, man. It's like it's like AEW really got hurt by that last year, and I was like, now WrestleMania plans have all been thrown up in the air because Seth gets hurt, now Punk gets hurt, and then the scandal has forced them to say, yeah, no, Brock, we don't want you on TV with working for us anymore right now. Thank you very much. So, a lot of some plans are being shuffled around and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with some of the cards. Yeah. So,
all right. Well, anything else on news?
No. Let's get to the Rumble, baby.
Let's get to the Rumble.
All right, here I am to recap what happened at WWE's Royal Rumble 2024 Premium Live Event / pay-per-view. Not many matches on this Rumble this year, so let's get to it. The show kicked off with the Women's Royal Rumble match. Natalya came out at number 1, and Naomi, making her return to WWE, came in at number 2 to a big pop and a welcome back chant that really got Naomi emotional. They kicked off the match. Bayley came in at number 3. Naomi and Bayley went the distance, both setting the longevity records. We'll get to who ended up with the actual record in a moment. They're going to go over every single entrant. Notable entrants and surprise returns besides Naomi. TNA Women's Knockouts Champion Jordynne Grace came out as an entrant. I believe she was number 5. We also had the return of Liv Morgan at number 30. She's been out for the last couple months with shoulder injury. But the big surprise that caused the most buzz outside of Jordynne Grace was finally the WWE debut of former AEW wrestler Jade Cargill. She came out to a big reaction. Fans popped huge for her. She immediately made an impact. She not only body slammed Nia Jax in an impressive power display, but then picked her up and tossed her over the top rope all by herself, when all the rest of the women in the ring could not do that earlier. Becky Lynch, of course, was very happy about that. Becky Lynch, one of the favorites. She made it to the end, but not to the final 4. Her and Naomi both got taken out by Jade Cargill near the end of the match. Naomi initially set the longevity record, but it was exceeded by Bayley. It was down to Bayley, Liv Morgan, and Jade Cargill. They ended up all on the apron fighting. But Bayley was able to knock Liv out after she got Jade off the apron. to win the Royal Rumble for the first time in her career, and also set the new longevity record, breaking Rhea's record from last year. Bayley spent 1 hour and 3 minutes in the Rumble. Then we had the WWE Undisputed WWE Universal Championship match, and a fatal 4-way. Roman Reigns defending against Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. No surprise, Roman Reigns came out on top. At one point, it looked like Orton had the match won, but of course, guess who showed up? Sikoa to interfere. But this time it's legal because there's no DQ and fatal 4-way. But eventually, Roman was able to survive by spearing AJ to pick up the victory. Then we had the United States title match, Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens. Logan Paul ended up winning this match by disqualification. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller came out, and while the referee was distracted, Austin Theory tried to slip some brass knuckles to Logan Paul, but KO intercepted them, used them on Logan Paul, and went to go for the pin and win the title. But just as the referee was counting, he saw that KO still had the brass knuckles on his hand and disqualified KO. KO was not too happy about that, so he ducked Logan Paul again one more time before he left. And then we closed out with the men's Royal Rumble match. Jey Uso came in at number 1, and his brother, Jimmy Uso, came out at number 2. So his brother versus brother kick off the Rumble. Nice little tease of a future match between the two of them. Jey Uso got to go quite far in the Rumble match. He lasted over 50 minutes. Almost made it to the end before getting eliminated. They had a good run. The only noticeable surprise return for the men's Rumble match was Andrade coming out at number 4 to return to WWE, as many of us expected him to. Cody Rhodes came out at number 15, and CM Punk came in at number 27. Notable entrant was Braun Breaker came in, apparently taking Brock Lesnar's place from what reports said. And he got to really shine. He wrecked shop, eliminated a bunch of people, including Ivar and Omos, of all people. So he got a great reaction. So can't wait for him to be on the main roster. So Final Four was Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and of course, no surprise, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And then came down to just Cody and Punk. They had a little mini match, but eventually Cody was able to toss Punk over the top rope to win the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row, becoming only the 4th person ever to win the Royal Rumble back-to-back years. So he will once again go to WrestleMania. So that's all that happened at WWE's Royal Rumble 2024.
All right. Well, thanks for that breakdown. So as far as the show, I during the live stream, I literally put a stopwatch to as soon as Roman Reigns came out to when they finally turned off his music. I think it was around 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's like
something around there. But it was when he actually showed up, not when they started playing his entrance music, because it takes a little bit for him to just even walk out.
I know.
On that, I did see some other things from around the country. I did see where there was a Royal Rumble. Obviously, there's a lot of viewing parties for WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. There's obviously viewing parties for all the premium live events, but obviously the big two get viewing parties. And one of the viewing parties was each person drew out a wrestler's name, and they had to chug their drink until from when their music hit to when they got in the ring. And they showed one guy who drew Omos, and he was like, "Oh God, it's taking forever." So that was there. I'll go over the good, and then I'll go over the bad. Because unfortunately, this wasn't a slam dunk show. Was for as much as I was anticipating it. Maybe I just overhyped it, but for as much as all that could have happened, it kind of did, but then it didn't. So it didn't underdeliver, but it didn't deliver as far as what I was anticipating. So it's not like it's not like that one. It's not a terrible WrestleMania, a Royal Rumble to begin with. It was good.
No.
I would say it was solid. for what it was, for having only 4 things on the card and still delivering solid stuff.
Mhm.
You know, I would give it that. I kind of agree. I was giving crap to the botchiness that happened in the women's part. All right, backtrack that. The good. Kevin Owens and Logan Paul had the best match of the night. I don't think I think that's clear cut, and I don't like false finishes at all. I even said that, but I was like,
normally I agree, but I thought the finish was actually brilliant. It was
brilliant. The way they and the production on it when they got he was in, and he like turned zoomed in and he goes, and Kevin's like, no, on that, and then hopefully it was fine, but Logan Paul kind of sounded concussed in his like post match interview. But I mean, you take 2 brass knuckles to the face, you technically can't talk after that. So I hope, with all the concussions as much as they do, I hope he wasn't concussed, and 2, that's fine if you want to play it up being kind of just out of it type of thing. That's fine. Now I know Logan Paul is fine because he recorded a podcast recently, and a clip's going around. If you didn't see it, of he was standing in the back after the Fatal 4-Way. And Paul Heyman kind of like says, come here, kid. And he was like, and he gets up to him, he goes, follow. And Paul Heyman tells Logan Paul, follow that motherfucker. And then, well, he did. He did. Yeah. Your match was just kind of the Fatal 4-Way was fine.
It was fine.
The problem was everyone knew what the finish was going to happen, so it was anticlimactic. That was the problem.
It's like as soon as like Solo prevented Orton from winning after he hit the RKO on Roman, I was just like, oh, there's Solo. There's the Solo interference spot.
Right. At least the Solo interference spot wasn't the reason Roman won. Like we said, we didn't need a Samoan spike to a spear. So we at least got Roman winning as clean as he possibly could since we can remember. Yes, Solo still interrupted, but it wasn't the reason he stopped Roman.
It wasn't the finish.
But it wasn't the finish, thankfully. So we got it wrong. We did get a little bit. I even commented on it. We did get a little bit of the Roman. What are these fools? They think they're me, even though he's getting beat up like 75% of the match.
I love the beginning when all 3 of them just beat the fuck out of him.
Right.
And they got him into the corner, and Roman's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
The crowd was really into LA Knight of the 4 of them.
Oh, yes.
I was surprised on how much more they liked.
Orton was still, the fans still were cheering for Orton, but LA Knight was getting the most. Every time he was punching guys, the crowd was chanting, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, he is still super over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like.
The other good I really enjoed was like you said, once you kind of commented during the live stream because it was very botchy at the beginning. I did really like Jordan Grace. I thought I was so glad that she was in the match, and then she performed like I know she can perform. So she had a really good, solid and they're like, she impressed people in the back. I'm like, have you not watched her ever?
I guess not. I love the spot where her and Ivan Al doing the stereo stalling suplexes and looking at each other. I thought that was a nice spot. And also the way she went out, she went out like a boss. I mean, it took Bianca giving her a KOD in the apron to take her out, to eliminate her. So it's like it wasn't like she got tossed like a chump. It's like Bianca had to use her finisher to get her out of the match. So it's no, she represented herself really well, and I think it's a really cool thing that Triple H and Scott D'Amore work this out. It helps TNA and gives them a little bit of attention, and plus the fans popped for her. Yeah. She I saw her in post interviews. She said she was wondering do they are they even know who I am? It's like they do because they popped for her, and it's like she was blown away by that. She said that the reaction she got when she came out. Mm-hmm. So,
So and then like that last half was really good. They had really solid spots.
The reception for Naomi's return was wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's like you could see she was fighting back tears, man. It's like when she was in the ring there and they were chanting "Welcome back." It's like that was really awesome. Yeah. But man, did she get to shine, man? She made it right to the end there. It's like she got to go the distance and put in a heck of a performance. So I thought that was great. Yeah. Great return for her.
And the subtlety of Bayley's kind of ascension to this spot, to this moment, the crowd was wanting it at entering this Royal Rumble.
Even
So
though she's a heel, the fans were rooting for her.
that's what I'm saying. Like with the way
the
they're
babyface
subtly
turn is not gonna be a
with the subtle dissension and them just kind of shunning Bayley in a way to where she's still part of Damage Control. She's still a heel. And you can still get into the heel portion of it. But the face turn is just slowly getting there. Very good subtly bookmaking to where you still have the audience buy into it enough to where entering that Royal Rumble, we thought she was going to win just based off of storyline stuff. But also we didn't. I was like, which I'll get into my bag because I'll get to you fans. But
yeah,
give me a second. I'll get to it. It's on the bad part. I'll put it that way. But this fans were definitely every time it was very much a Bayley centric. This is the one we want to win fan crowd. Now Jade, as soon as she came out, I was like, come on, just do it. Just just be good because we've seen her be super green in AEW.
She got to look good, man. I mean,
she got to look really good.
When she like slammed Nia all by herself, I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. And then I was like, oh, I was thinking like, oh my god, if she eliminates Nia all by herself, then that's perfection, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I love Becky going,
right,
like standing right next to Jade, laughing and seeing that Nia's got tossed.
And then that stare down of Jade and Bianca, I was like, there's your money right there. You just made it.
That was one of the biggest reactions of the night from the crowd was that stare down. So like the fans are like, we want that match.
Right.
So I think you can pencil that in, if not Mania this year, but that's a Mania match right there for you.
And then another good, even with the women's Rumble, R-Truth. He's just the gift that keeps on giving.
He was hilarious, man. It's like, and then the spot he did in the men's Rumble with the tag me in, Dominic, give me the hot tag,
and did like the all quintessential hot tag of the John Cena of 5 moves of doom.
I was watching my friend. I'm like, oh, he's challenging his dad, John Cena.
Right. Yeah. So that was a good stuff there. And then, I didn't realize the whole like Michael Cole like being obsessed with Valhalla's antlers. And
yeah, no, I was like, what the heck?
Someone did a cut up of him not being able to say antlers correctly. So that was a weird thing, but yeah, and that was really good.
Now tied with Chelsea Green for the quickest women's elimination in a Rumble match at 5 seconds.
Yeah. Speaking about that, Chelsea Green and being the fodder, the cannon, like the AO,
her character work is just so freaking good, man. Her and Piper Niven was doing some great stuff in that match.
Piper, their chemistry has really stepped up, and also I think it has a lot to do with Chelsea breaking Piper out of that shell. So
he's definitely helped.
They're still individuals and they're still different, but you can tell the cohesion is there. And as soon as she caught her, she's like, oh.
Also, this is like a day. It's like you can tell that some people still need work because the crowd popped for certain people. Like when Becky came out, big pop. Bianca, big pop. Jade, big pop. It's like some other people didn't get much of a reaction. So it's like that was another thing with the crowd. It's like we'll get more on that in the bad.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, as far as that, I couldn't get at first. At the end of it, I gave it 3 stars. I might give it a little half bump just because of what happened later on with the men's match, which is kind of it really drug on a little bit too much with the men's match, unfortunately. And there was no Kofi spots. People were complaining because there wasn't enough.
Yeah,
but because there wasn't enough. And I kind of put on WWE the bad part was not the non-surprises. It was the crowd's expectation.
Yeah, like my friend James here said, absolutely. That I don't know if it was just the crowd or the acoustics. Some people said that Tropicana Field's acoustics is dog shit. So maybe it was a combination of that and it's like
it was the highest ticket sales, I think, for a Rumble that they can remember.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get any. Kofi didn't get a spot. He was in there for a couple minutes, and then boom, then Gunther tossed him like he was trash.
Right, and then they were saying with Katana, because she's typically the Kofi spot, and it was kind of like she landed on a bunch of people, and they were kind of joking. I mean, I don't know if that was an actual spot with the Kabuki Warriors, or was Kyrie was supposed to actually catch.
Kyrie had one of the only like I'm trying not to get eliminated. It's like she was like hanging out for dear life. I like that spot. Unfortunately, it's like I was like, she fell off. Yeah, the crowd was really weird. It's like it came alive for certain like entrances and certain moments, but a lot of other times it sounded like they were very quiet. It was just really weird. It definitely like hurt the show. Like I felt the show still was like good, but I think the crowd and some other things, and I think our expectations kind of like kept it from being like a great Rumble. It was a solid Rumble. I was hoping it would be great, but it was just like it was like, okay, that's fine. It's because the people who won, Bailey and Cody, I thought was the right calls. But yeah, like there wasn't much excitement really for the men's Rumble match until like about halfway through when Cody came out. Like Andrade was the only interesting surprise. I mean, seeing some of the NXT people coming into both Rumbles was nice. I want to highlight that. Roxanne and Tiffany Stratton got to come in. Tiffany had an insane spot where she was like trying to avoid elimination by hanging on to Bianca's hair braid.
Yeah.
And it was like this. I was like, damn. I was like, poor Bianca, man.
The only thing I missed is her doing her like cool ass like triple rope moonsault where she hops on like all 3 ropes to do her moonsault.
Yeah, she did the handspring attack in the corner. She got to show off her stuff.
Right.
So did Roxanne. So they got a little bit of shine there in the second half of the match. We had Carmelo and Braun in the men's Rumble match. Melo got at least elimination. I mean, he was in there for a little bit, got elimination. But the real shine was Braun. He was a wrecking machine.
Mm-hmm.
I was so pumped. I was hoping for it because like when he came, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. It's like I was like, oh, I hope he gets to shine, and then he just he's spearing the heck out of everybody. He's tossing people. When he tossed like Ivar, I was like, oh hell yeah! And then I was like, I went when I was like, holy crap, he just tossed Omos, and then I was like, damn it, you freaking dirty Dom.
Right. Yeah.
But I love the spot where him and Omos just like looked at McAfee and went, like, you really want to come in here? You want to come in here with us?
Right.
And then Pat was just like, no.
Yeah, he did the Drew Carey of like, I guess I'm here. And then they all both looked at him, and he was like, I'm good. And then they kind of turned around. He got in real quick, and then they turned and looked at him. And he goes, all right,
yeah.
I'm out.
And
apparently, of course, thing like apparently McAfee didn't even know he's supposed to be in, so he just kind of played it up. I'm like, maybe I get it, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think the second half of the men's Rumble really picked up. Like, especially once you got into late 20s when Punk came out and then Drew and then Sami came out at 30.
Damien.
The last portion of the match was fantastic.
Yes.
We got down to like there was you had the 6, and then the final 4 was perfect. Like that moment where it's like between Drew and Punk was great, and then the look on Drew's face when Punk tossed him.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
And it's like, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was like, okay, it's Punk Cody. What's going to happen? But as soon as Punk pointed the rest of my side, I was like, nope, Cody's winning.
Well,
every time somebody in the Rumble like points to the sign, they never win. They always get eliminated.
When I realized that it was Cody that was going to win was when he hit him with the pedigree, and he kind of looks at it. He kind of looks and goes, "Can you believe I did that shit?" And then he gets up and he was like, "I'm not losing to Dusty's kid," or something with Dusty's kid. As soon as he said that, I'm like, "Oh, well, Cody's going to win now." Which is again, that's what I wanted, because we've been saying throughout this whole time.
Punk was able to do all that while his tricep was torn. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's adrenaline helps.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a drug. But that's your body does it itself.
One thing I also liked was that they showed Seth and Roman watching from the skybox level to see who was going to win. I thought that was a nice touch, and I also loved when as soon as like just before the show ended, Cody like looked right at Roman and was pointing right. It's like, I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
And he just had that like.
Yeah,
like he's being memed so much with that look.
You see Heyman had like a look of panic on his face, and then Roman was like, "Look, no, I'm number one, dog." Right. It's like you want to.
But his look over because someone was barking at him. He's like, "You gotta face Cody now," and he was just like, he looked over at the crowd. He was like, He was like, and so he got like this worried face, and like people have memed it all over with that. So that was really good.
My friend James, who's in the chat, we had a good time watching the show. But yeah, it's like. The both Rumble matches had some iffy spots, but overall, the right people won and had a lot of good moments. So I'd give this. I was hoping this Rumble would be like a home run. This is more like a double or maybe a triple. I'd give it. I'd say at least 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 overall.
Yeah. As far as the star rating, it's definitely right around the 3.5 range. The other thing that I don't know what was wrong, but a couple of things. And someone pointed out, and I realized that. And the reason a lot of times crowds weren't getting it is everyone's music kind of sounds the same, other than the big ones.
Yeah,
there's no distinction between a lot of the mid carders.
Mm-hmm. Like certain people's music got a certain reaction. I mean, people knew who Braun was. Like when Braun came out, he got a pop.
Yeah, because he has a. Yeah, I mean, he had the pop. Jordan Grace at least has the sirens or whatever with it, so you can understand that. But I mean, it's just a lot of bland music, and unfortunately, like I remember the Royal Rumbles from the Attitude Era. Of course, Johnson was just an amazing artist as far as making all those entrance themes, but distinctions. But everyone every time that music hit, you knew exactly who it was coming out. You didn't have to think for a second or wait for the logo to come up. So that was that there. The other thing, the production, whoever was running the production truck on their cuts were missing some things, or when almost got eliminated. He was getting eliminated while an entrance was coming in, and you typically don't do that, especially for a big elimination.
Yeah, they almost missed Braun tossing Omos. They just barely got it on camera.
Right. So maybe that was a missed spot between Omos and Braun. They were supposed to toss it right before that 0 hit. I don't know what that was there. Again, Rumbles, I felt it. I just remember it being a little bit more crisp.
Yeah. But there was some good storyline set up for a lot of stuff. I mean, like the
women had a lot more storyline set up than the men did.
Yeah, like the Pride in the Last Testament got into it during the Rumble. You had the Damage Control stuff where Asuka and Kyrie were trying to help Bayley, and they were working as a team for a while. But then after they got tossed, Bayley was like, "Oh God, what am I going to do?"
Right.
It's like also very interesting that she was surprised that they were there. That was another interesting thing. It's like she was confused when Asuka came into the match. Like she wasn't expecting other members of the group to be in the match. So it's like I was like, just adding more to the storyline here with
we forgot to mention that was so awesome of Jay and Jimmy as 1 and 2.
Yes, that was a brilliant move. Brilliant
move.
It gave me the when in the '89 Rumble when Demolition was 1 and 2 and they just went at it, but. They were still a tag team at the time. This was a little different. They've been Jimmy and Jay have been split for a while, but I thought it still was a cool moment to tease a showdown between those two. That's going to eventually happen.
And a lot of times too, the Rumble is kind of used for like, here's what we think we're going with it, but let's get a crowd, reaction, see what the internet says to see.
Jay got a hell of a run. He lasted over 50 minutes, almost made it past number 30 before he got tossed. And he also got tossed by Gunther. Mm-hmm.
Which I said he's gonna end up doing that. And then he's gonna what's gonna happen is the way I see it right now, the way they can do it is somehow, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but basically Elimination Chamber. Which surprise, we were right on that one that the Raw's Women's title is gonna be Elimination Chamber for the number 1 contender. Who knew that was coming? Oh wait, Justin said it, and then I agreed. So therefore, I get part 0.5 credit.
You get part. Yeah, we can share the credit. No,
right. But another thing as far as Cody winning, we kept saying since the birth of this show, which was after Cody didn't complete the story, and we said, number one, that should have happened because Rowan's outgrew the title, doesn't need the title for where he's at now.
Yeah.
So that loss wasn't hurting him, especially with all of the tribal chief stuff that is still going on. And so you still could have had The Rock and Roman at this WrestleMania instead of Cody having to finish the story, which he should have done a year ago.
Yep.
Now, obviously, people right now are saying, well, that's because Vince came in and said that. No, we're going to do this. I don't know.
No, this was a Triple H call. And
this was a Triple H call, guys. I just trust me, it was.
Yeah.
And so, but now we're still the whole time we're like, but Cody's on Raw. Like, how's he going to get to? Oh, wait, he just wins the Rumble. That's an easy one to do.
Because people are trying to come up with convoluted ways, like, well, Punk should win the Rumble, but well, what about Cody? Well, he can win the Elimination Chamber, but he's on Raw. It's like you'd have to like jump through a lot of hoops that you shouldn't have to in order to because like when he went, I was like, okay, cool, he wins the Rumble. Punk can win Elimination Chamber to get Seth, but then we found out Punk's injured. Fuck.
Right. I did like too speaking about and they also asked Cody in his post media scrum about so who do you want to face? He goes, you all saw my reaction and what I did. Everyone knows I pointed. There's unfinished business. I pointed at Roman.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows who I want to go with. And then we'll get into Raw because that was the coolest, most random. Oh, that's one way to do it as far as putting Seth still in the mix without just totally saying, okay, it's going to be Roman Cody, which it should be.
Yeah.
On that, but at least
also just as far as like the media scrum, props to the John Elba and all the reporters for asking the tough questions. Triple H should have gave better answers. Cody gave the best friggin' answer.
Yeah.
That his answer was the answer Triple H should have given. But it's like I get that he didn't want to get into that stuff and just focus on the good stuff, but it's like he could have given better answers. So it's like
you're in that seat, man. That's your job. Unfortunately, you shouldn't have your number one contender.
HBK gave better answers during his media thing for Vengeance Day today. Talking about the Vince situation. So
I mean, all he have to do was say it is an ongoing investigation. We are fully behind we will fully support what comes out of it.
Yeah,
and we'll make adjustments as accordingly as the news gets related to us. Instead of the half-assed whatever you just gave us.
Yeah.
And Cody basically said it. So he even could have said, I can even read just to kind of piggyback on what our number one contender said. And then kind of go from there. At least acknowledging what Cody said was really solid instead of kind of making a little bit jab at the Forbidden Door shit. I'm like, really? You have a chance to do Forbidden Door stuff, but you got like the biggest scandal.
Tony. He couldn't resist.
Well, I mean, both of them can't resist it digging each other. So
no, not at this point. No.
Just to this point, I'm just like,
but So good, solid Rumble. Wish it had been great, but the right people won, and the right people won the Rumble, so it's all good.
Shout out to Jimmy trying to have like so many pairings during the Rumble.
No eat, right? No eat, right?
Okay, all right, yeah, good job, all right. I love his. I as much as I don't like him back in the Bloodline so quickly, his character.
He had the no heat shirt on while Jay had the heat shirt on. So
Jimmy is definitely definitely done some amazing,
really good at the comedy. It's like
really good comedy work right now. But like I said, I'd give it, as far as wrestling stars, I'd give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
I didn't like the freaking you didn't see AJ on the rope for the finish. How did they not go wide cam or something like that to at least show AJ on the rope until he put all I saw, and maybe I missed it, but did you see AJ on the top rope before LA Knight got pushed into it? All of a sudden AJ just comes down.
I think they missed that. Yeah, it's like I think they're just working out the kinks in the post countdown era. But I like some of the new camera angles we're seeing and a lot of other different stuff, especially what they were doing on Raw. Camera work from like the top of the post. Yeah, it's kind of similar to what AEW does. Yeah.
I mean, still like I like the risk they're taking, but they're also just kind of working the kinks out since Kevin Dunn. Literally, it's the guy that's been there since the '70s is no longer the head honcho. So you've got a new regime, so it takes a little bit to work the kinks out. So I understand that. But
all right,
that is the Royal Rumble. So we will move on to. Well, we do you want to go ahead and just do SmackDown before?
We'll do SmackDown real quick.
Okay. So we'll just kind of roll back time a little bit. Yeah. This is this date. This show is the one Friday before
the Rumble. Yeah. Hey there, here is a recap of what happened on Friday Night SmackDown, last SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. The show opened with rapper-singer Eladio Carrion, I hope I pronounced that right, introducing Randy Orton to open the show. He got a promo, basically about beating Roman Reigns for the title at the Rumble. Then AJ Styles and LA Knight came out to cut their own promos about the match. And it led to a fight where Styles got the upper hand. He super kicked LA Knight and then gave a Pele kick to Orton. Our first match of the show was Santos Escobar against Carlito. Santos Escobar picked up the win. Legado del Fantasma and LWO were all at ringside. Big thing that happened in this match was that Elektra Lopez showed up from NXT to help Santos out, since she used to be a member of Legado back in their NXT days, and she attacked Selena Vega at ringside and showed that she was aligning with her old friend Santos, joined the group. We had backstage vignettes during the show, basically showing Nick Aldis and Ava Raine talking, and also watching wrestlers pick their Rumble numbers out of the big tumbler, which is cool, and seeing their reactions. Then we had a women's WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defending against the reunited Kabuki Warriors of Damage Control, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Asuka and Kairi defeated them to become the Women's Tag Team Champions. Once again, they are now multi-time Women's Tag Team Champions as Damage Control starts collecting more gold. Heyman in the backstage area, locker room, hyped up Jimmy Uso to get in the Rumble and win the Rumble so that he can challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and bring the world title into the Bloodline's possession. The Pride, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits came out to confront the Final Testament. Words were exchanged between two groups, and they got into another brawl, and the Last Testament came out on top once again. Then we had Austin Theory taking on Carmelo Hayes. Austin Theory got the win thanks to a surprise roll-up and a handful of tights. He and his ally Grayson Waller tried to do a beatdown on Melo after the match, but his buddy and tag partner from NXT, Trick Williams, arrived to make the save. And then our main event was LA Knight taking on Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline. The match ended in a disqualification when AJ Styles interfered, attacking LA Knight. The Bloodline tried to convince AJ earlier even to take out LA Knight, so that'll make things easier for him to win the title match at the Rumble. They egged him on to hit LA Knight with a chair, but he instead attacked the Bloodline. Randy Orton came out, and there was a big brawl between the baby faces. Randy was able to hit the RKO on AJ, but LA Knight snuck up behind Randy and hit him with his finisher, the BFT, to close out SmackDown. So,
all right, a couple things. After that, because we'll kind of breeze through this real quick since we kind of already went over the pay-per-view that preceded this. Number one, I can't believe I didn't talk. You can't believe I didn't really talk a lot about Roxanne in being in the Rumble, and the fact that it obviously was a terrible Rumble because she didn't win it. And then, I mean, obviously, like, come on, like you let that golden goose go over the top rope and not win it. Like, what the crap is wrong with you?
Right.
Now,
okay,
anyway. Also, too, I totally forgot after you went over the recap is that Katana and Caden Carter were the ones that eliminated the Kabuki Warriors. So
payback.
So kind of payback there. And then I forgot to highlight one of the cool. I love the RKO so much, and that freaking spot where he countered Roman's spear into that RKO was so awesome.
Yeah.
I just always forget just how just out of nowhere stuff that RKO is, and it's so good because he hits it perfectly. When the wrestlers pick, but other than that, it was
I like to see the Tumblr back, picking the numbers. That was nice.
Yep.
It was a throwback back to the old days. It's like I was like, I've missed that. I'm glad that. So props to Triple H for bringing that back. Especially seeing people's facial reactions to their numbers. You know, it's like,
was R-Truth on this one where he picked his number and was just like, I'm not sick, and I thought it was like a COVID night. Like, I was like, is this number 19? Like, I ain't sick, dog. On that. So, but yeah, no, I mean, that's the kind of things as looking at the way the Rumble played out and where this is. Carlito did eliminate Santos, in the Rumble, so that's still ongoing there. And again, where is Andrade gonna go? Have they said?
I forgot to mention it in my SmackDown recap, but there was a segment on Raw where he was in Adam Pearce's office and signed a Raw contract, so he's on Raw.
Okay, that's right.
And also they teased Nick Aldis came in and was like, damn, he said that he wanted to get Andrade on SmackDown, but then he got a phone call and was like, oh, that's Braun Breaker, I should take that.
Right.
So
because they've already said today that Braun, Carmelo, and Trick are all going to be on SmackDown tomorrow. And they are really pushing to get Braun on the main rosters very quickly because they don't want to lose the momentum that he created at the Rumble, which makes sense. And plus, Trick got a huge pop this SmackDown.
Yeah, he's very over.
Very over. And you can't go wrong with Melo. So Melo's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't.
It makes sense that he's on Raw for now because Charlotte's out. If Charlotte was not injured, he'd be on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So when she comes back, he will be on the show, whichever show. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Charlotte shared on social media that she was backstage. She had a knee brace on. She helped her hubby Andrade get ready for his WWE return. I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, I remember seeing some little small video either on her social or his social one, where she was kind of helping him out, getting them ready and everything like that. So that was a little sweet stuff there. Anything else about the show? Just because we kind of already knew how this stuff kind of played out. So.
I was not surprised that Asuka and Kairi won the tag titles. I had felt it was coming. I like Kaden and Katana, but I kind of felt that they were like transitional champions because I'm just like, if they're going to begin, it's like, unless something shocking happens, the Damage Control, I saw them winning. And I'm okay with it. But they are going to get a rematch. I think they announced, on Raw that Kaden and Katana said that they're getting a rematch against Asuka and Kairi next week. So it was still a good match. I mean, I
really enjoyed it. I really did. I did like the false finishes. So and Kaden and Katana really work.
They're really good. They're a really good team.
I just can't get over the fact that they just seem like Kaden and Katana was like, what is this, Mortal Kombat? Like, I just can't get over the fact that
I think Asuka and Kairi are going to have the titles for a while because it's like if you want to really rebuild the women's tag division at this point, they're going to have a lengthy run. And they did have a lengthy run. It's like they had one of the longer runs with the women's tag titles than most other teams back in the day when they had them. That was during pandemic time.
Yeah, and they were I think as far as like the best runs and the one that like you actually cared about the titles, it was them one and then Sasha Bailey too.
Yeah, when Sasha and Bailey were the two women power trip and they had the tag titles and both show titles. Yeah, so like they had all the women's gold. It's like that was good stuff.
Yeah, that was good stuff there. And then you had something with a couple more, like a handful of other tag teams, and you just floundered it. But hopefully, like you said, I'm with you. I was like, they'll probably have a long run to put more prestige back on the belt, kind of what Gunther's doing, and even Logan Paul's doing with the mid card titles.
I'm digging. I'm liking with the Last Testament. Crossing them. I like the vibe. So it's like we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But that was SmackDown.
Yep. Now we're gonna go to Raw with the fallout of the Royal Rumble.
The Rumble. All right, let's recap what happened this week.
Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Production.
Hello. Here we go. Recapping what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The immediate fallout after the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. The show initially opened showing Pat McAfee, who was on commentary for the Rumble, came out to join Michael Cole at the desk. Michael Cole informed everyone that he and Pat would be the regular commentary team for Monday Night Raw for the foreseeable future. Then CM Punk came out to, of course, great reaction from the fans. And he had his right arm in a sling. And he first said that, talked about how he almost won the Rumble, but close is not good enough. He's not mad at Cody and congratulated him on his win. He feels a little bit unlucky because he confirmed the reports that he did indeed tear his right tricep during the Rumble match. And I'll put sides point to that. It happened when he took a Future Shock DDT from Drew McIntyre. He thought he'd be able to make WrestleMania, but doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. It's a flesh wound, a bump in the road, and he says that there's always next year. Then Drew McIntyre came out, told Punk that he's not really been a spiritual person in his life, but he said that he prayed for this to happen, and it did, to massive heat. He said he targeted Punk in the Rumble to make sure he didn't win, and was upset that, of course, that Punk eliminated him, but when he found out that he was injured, he ended up sleeping like a baby. He's going to take Punk's dream of main eventing WrestleMania this year, and he's going to become a champion again. Punk told him that he's going to go rehab his arm. He eventually will main event WrestleMania in the future. But before he does that, he says that when he comes back from injury, he's coming right for Drew McIntyre. They got into a brawl. Punk tried to fight with one arm, but Drew headbutted him and then stomped on the injured arm. And then Sami Zayn came out to make the save to prevent further injury to Punk. Judgment Day took on DIY to defend the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. Great match. Judgment Day came out on top this time. After the match, Judgment Day was in the ring. Priest called R-Truth to come out. After some back and forth, he made it clear the truth that he is not part of Judgment Day, never was and never will be. But he does like him, and he thinks he's funny. So that's why he's not going to do this. And JD McDonough and Dominic attacked him from behind and beat him down. The Miz tried to make the save, but the numbers were against them, and they both got beat up. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in a women's tag team match as the build of the women's tag team division continues. Then we had Cody Rhodes coming out to a great reaction. Fans chanted, you deserve it to him. But before he could declare who he was going to challenge for the title at WrestleMania, Seth Rollins came out. He told Cody to hear him out and said that he doesn't want him to choose to face Roman again for the title. He wants Cody to pick him and face him for the World Heavyweight title. He made a very compelling argument to Cody about why he should face him and not Roman. Cody said he didn't expect this and says that he will consider what Seth said and leaves. Jey Uso defeated Bronson Reed, picking up a big win as the singles push continues. Becky Lynch had a brief interview backstage, said that she let people down, and the fans down by not winning the Rumble, including herself, but the only way she'll stay down, she gives up, and that's not in her nature. She will find a way to get back to the top and into the title picture and take women's title match back into the main event of WrestleMania where it deserves to be. Intercontinental title match. Gunther defeated Kofi Kingston to continue his historic Intercontinental title reign. Great match. The Kabuki Warriors defeated Natalya and Tegan Nox in a non-title tag team match. Bayley and Damage Control came up the ring, of course, bragging about winning the Rumble. But before she could say who she was going to challenge at WrestleMania for the title, which she had said was going to be Rhea herself came out. Rhea Ripley was ahead of Mike, told Bayley not to make the mistake of challenging her for the title. But before she could continue, Nia Jax jumped Rhea from behind, took her into the ring, beat her up, gave her a big leg drop and the bonsai drop in the corner, laying her out. Nia then went over and got in Bayley's face and told her she better pick Io Sky to face at Mania instead of Rhea, because Rhea's not going to make it to WrestleMania as far as Nia's concerned. Bayley, all scared of Nia, said that she will announce her choice on this Friday on SmackDown instead. And then the main event, due to what happened at the opening show, Sami Zayn challenged Drew McIntyre to a match. Drew picked up the win with a little cheating chicanery. Looks like he got a low blow in on Sami when he went for a Helluva kick, and that allowed him to hit the Claymore to pick up the victory. And nothing else happened after that. Drew McIntyre just stood tall, and the show ended. So that's all that happened this week on Monday Night Raw.
All right. Well, first off, I got to highlight your boy, because the boy went trolling after the show, and
dude,
he did not hold back.
Him using the arrow, the Grant Gustin at Oliver Queen's grave meme was gold, but then he took it to another level with his TikTok video. Where he's trolling about working out in the gym and like, I take care of them triceps, right, Pop?
Yeah.
Like,
let me see if I can pull it up while you're kind of breaking it down real quick.
Let me see if I can...
Yeah, it was hilarious. And then he also let me see if I can get this
I'll
one
tell
up.
you right now, while you're doing that, when Punk comes back from injury, I know people are like, wait a minute, why are they setting up a McIntyre feud when he's I think they wouldn't be doing that if he's not he hasn't resigned.
Right.
It's like
I'm not going to play the audio for obvious reasons. But he's just,
it's like, take care of the triceps, and like he focuses on the tricep here in a little bit while he starts working out. It's like, it's just fucking brilliant. Oh my god!
Smile. Take care of them triceps.
Wink.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just good stuff there. And then
this. Oh my god!
And then the last troll that he did.
There's another one I missed.
Yeah. It was.
Oh, it's so good.
So here, I'll just go ahead and share it. So basically, it was it's like WWE said, "Get well soon," and Drew McIntyre just did the Michael Jordan laughing.
It's like, look, I think it's pretty clear. I think they got Drew's going to stay, because this is you would not be doing this stuff, trolling CM Punk like this, if they were not going to have a red hot mega feud when Punk's back from injury, because when Punk comes back from injury, he's going to want to kill McIntyre. It's like, and that feud will be awesome.
To me, kind of like with the feuds that they've done, CM Punk and Seth is CM Punk MJF. CM Punk and McIntyre is CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. Like, it's that type of, just these guys are just they're kind of like coincide. They've always been at each other. Like CM Punk and Seth are just kind of that top. They can just go at each other, whereas McIntyre's got that fight me, that promo that Eddie Kingston did.
This heel turn has been absolutely
chef's kiss.
It's
so good.
Like, I'm just so happy. It's like that's why I made sure to wear this, because I was like, I had to rep my guy after the week, what he's done this week.
Yeah, he's been red hot for like the last 2 months, and then he's come a long way from the chosen one in the three-man band.
He sounded like he was being sympathetic to Punk a little bit, but then when he's like, I prayed for this to happen, and it did. And like the crowd was silent, like just before he said that, and then they went, and then like the heat just like came down on him like there was no tomorrow.
Right.
I love Punk's facial expressions, like you motherfucker.
Right.
I also love when Punk's like, when McIntyre's music, didn't expect that. I love when Punk improvises like that a little bit.
And then the next part, we had one of the classic tag team matches. I mean, just
God!
I don't DIY crowd. Can you cheer for DIY? Do you? I know me and Justin kind of marched for them, but
over. It's so good.
They're so good. They're just so good.
Now,
these two could just these two groups could just fight forever.
That crowd was hot for that tag match.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, and like they gave it this awesome chant. They were hot for DIY. They wanted them to win. I loved the stereo submission spot where Ciampa and Gargano had them both in stereo submissions. That was a callback. They did that to FTR during their legendary NXT feud over the tag titles. So at first I was like, oh man, I was hoping they would, but they're so over right now. I think it's only a matter of time. It's like I'm not worried.
No,
they'll get the rematch.
You still need the right now because the Judgment Day is the group. You still need the titles on them because then you kind of lose some of the everyone coming from the Judgment Day. Therefore, everyone else is trying to figure out there's a bunch of stuff going around. So you just lose that little bit. And you still have enough, like they could lose at Elimination Chamber or something. You don't have the Judgment Day lose the tag team titles on some random Raw after the Royal Rumble. You just don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was pulling for him, but I was like, okay, all right.
Oh no, I popped for that false finish.
What matters with that match is that DIY was over. The fans were hot for the match, so it's even though they lost, it's a win for DIY.
Yeah, but no, I don't think I didn't pop for that false finish. I don't think.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't pop for that false finish. And then the next match, Shayna and Zoe, fine. It's
fine. Short and sweet. They won.
Yep. Shout out to Cody saying, "Hey, can you announce that again?"
Oh, I forgot to mention. Props to Samantha Irving's job at the Rumble. I mean, Samantha Irving's a great announcer. I was watching the show and I was wondering, I was like, Samantha's announcing all the matches. I was like, where's Mike Rome? Turns out Mike Rome lost his poor voice, poor guy.
Oh.
So that's why Samantha did all the announcing duties at the pay-per-view. So, but I did love Cody asking her to announce him again, just because she's just so good. Like she's awesome. So that was a nice moment. Great. I think this was a surprise, but I was like, this is brilliant because with Punk out and Seth questionable, this adds a little bit of intrigue out of the predictability of him picking Roman. At least it's like we know that he's still going to pick Roman eventually, but to the general fans, they can buy into like he's seriously considering this because Seth made such a damn good pitch. So wow. I thought his pitch was fantastic. He made up a lot of good points. And he put out another video on social media to try to sell it again, where he's like, do you want to be a champion like the Ultimate Warrior was, or do you want to be like Ric Flair? It's like,
right. This was definitely I've kind of alluded to earlier.
I was weird to use the Warrior. I would think he would use Bret Hart. I would have gone with Bret Hart, comparing Bret Hart to Flair. But yeah, it's just me. I was like, that was interesting. He chose Warrior as like. I was like, okay, I'll go. I was like, whatever.
More of like, I think he's going with the flash in the pan, rather than the longevity of Ric Flair. Maybe that's where he was going with. Because I mean, longest story. Yes, we still talk about Ultimate Warrior to this day, but
no, because he was more like, do you really want to be like the Holly? You want to be like Hogan, like all these other the Hollywood champions. You want to be it's like, because he's basically implied that he'll end up like being like Roman, where instead of being like the fighting champion, which is why I was surprised he didn't use Brett, because like Brett and Shawn were like they had they defended the title all the fucking time.
Yeah, that's what you're saying now. But yeah, this was a brilliant way to do it. This kind of reminded me of like, this is for my 7th grade-year-old self, or all of our buddies. All of us would like watch wrestling and then couldn't wait to get to school the next day and talk about it.
Yeah.
And this was this promo between Seth and Cody, us were like, it's still going to be Roman, but it was such good work that we're like, this is the stuff that we would be debating at the 7th grade lunch table.
Yeah, and plus it gives time, because obviously they're still not 100% sure if Seth's going to be able to make it. So this kind of like, it adds a little bit of drama and drags things out just a little bit. I think by the time Elimination Chamber happens, it's when like, I think that Cody will take just up until probably elimination chamber before he makes the official decision on who he's going to. He's going to be on SmackDown tomorrow night, so it'll be interesting to see what Roman says to him if he's not even on the show, which I assume he is.
So do you think they're still trying to figure it out? So do you think that they'll go Gunther? I think they'll end up doing Gunther Seth. I really do at this point.
The only other option I think could work outside of Gunther Seth would be Drew Seth.
Yeah, but the fact is they've already kind of fought like 3 times. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew's hot right now. Red hot right now. Don't get me wrong, but we just saw this match. Like,
it depends on if I'll tell you this: if for the chamber match to determine who will face Seth at Mania, if Gunther's in it, he's winning.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I think it's either going to be just a title versus title thing, and then Seth drops it to, or if Gunther wins and he drops the, somehow another Jey Uso is going to win the somehow another Jey Uso is going to win the Intercontinental title.
Seth, it'll be like Hogan Warrior, where Warrior won, he had both titles, and then he'll vacated the IC title to be just the heavyweight champion, and Gunther will do the same thing, and then then you'll have a tournament to crown a new IC champion, and he'll have his aura of like greatest Intercontinental champion ever will like stick because he never lost the title.
Right.
It's like he has a longevity record, and he never got pinned for it.
Right.
Or never submitted for it.
And you're still pushing for brother versus brother at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
With that. So I mean, nothing else has said anything different. I mean, pretty much Jimmy might just come out of nowhere at Elimination Chamber and cost Jay the match, which leads into that probably also, is what's going to happen.
What Becky said also is making me think that Becky Rhea that one, because she specifically said getting the women's title back into the main event where it belongs, because it hasn't been one of the women's titles has not been in the main event slot since Sasha versus Bianca, and Rhea Becky would more than be deserving of that spot.
Yeah,
because of how big because they have not, like I said, they've only wrestled each other once, and that was on an NXT show back in 2020. In the build up to the Survivor Series era, when it was NXT versus SmackDown versus Raw. And that was like end up being a no contest, so there was no winner. So it's like they've only wrestled once, and that was like years ago. Like it's like the only other time they've interacted was the War Games match from 2022. Other than that, it's like they've really not like tangled in the ring extensively. So it's like it's gonna feel big because just how over he is and who Becky is. It's just like it's like you got to put that in the main event slot.
I'm actually.
I'll tell you right now, Becky's winning the chamber. I don't care who else is in it. Becky's winning the chamber.
Oh yeah, for sure. I honestly right now, and I think they're going to do the match of the women's division. I'm actually looking forward to Jade and Bianca more than the other the championship matches. Like I really am. I'm still excited for both of them because I want to see Bayley and Io, and I want to see.
Oh yeah, Bayley Io will kick ass, and so will Becky Rhea. But
but like that, it's just the unknown, and what they both can do is why I'm more intrigued for it. That's why I'm looking forward to it, because I already know what the other 4 can do, right? But we know what Jade could possibly do, but her in-ring work, and that's why they've held her off since they signed her so much. And for what she did, the minimum that she did in the ring still was, you can tell she's progressed so much better in the ring from that little bit from what we saw at AEW. So that's why I'm more intrigued with it, is just because
I think, the
athleticism between both of those women and what you can get out of it.
I think things will become clear soon because we're only 3 weeks. The Elimination Chamber is 3 weeks from this Saturday. So it's only 3 more weeks before Elimination Chamber. So they got to announce like what the 2 chamber matches, who's in them, and what the number 1 contenderships for those 2 chamber matches are for.
Right.
So that's why tomorrow, what happens with Bayley and Damage Control is very important to see what's going to happen, because she is not challenging Rhea. Something's going to happen. Either she's going to get delayed in choosing like like Cody, or Damage Control turns on her tomorrow night.
Hey, let me just give you some deja vu. She's holding the clipboards of Raw or SmackDown, and everyone and all the Damage Control is giving her the thumbs up, and she's like, "Yeah!" And then she slowly does that. The Batista.
The Batista moment where he turned on Evolution.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, obviously, it's not.
It's either that or when it's like the Orton celebration, we were the title, and then Triple H smiled at him and then went.
Yeah.
Which Batista doing that was a callback to. That was a callback to.
Right.
I thought was brilliant when he did that because that was a clear message to Triple H that like, nah, brah.
No. On that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because obviously, and I always forget this is always like my like.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
No,
honestly, it'll be very interesting to see what's gonna happen.
That's kind of the thing. While we were looking for the Royal Rumble, because we're like, we really don't know. They're building stuff really well. And the fact is they're building it so well that the payoff might not be what it was, even though back in the day, the payoff would be better than the build. Because I mean, they've done some top 10 of like worst builds, and then the matches were great. Like that AJ Finn Balor they had to throw together. Remember when they first had that real good match way back, and then I forget who got injured. It might have been Bray Wyatt or something, but he was like the demon, and so AJ just stepped in.
We need to, because with because they need to make clear because there's going to be a women's chamber match and a men's match and chamber match and which I think they're both going to be Raw chamber matches just because of what the situation. One for the one to determine who faces Rhea and the other to determine who faces Seth. So I think the other intriguing thing is like Liv Morgan being back, and she wants her pound of flesh from Rhea because storyline wise that she was the one who injured her, and plus she turned on Liv when she went heel and joined Judgment Day. So it's like they're old enemies. So pencil her in besides Becky for the chamber match. The rest of the spots, I'm not sure who they go to. Be interested to see what happens.
Who knows? But shout out to Liv Morgan coming the last person
Rhea,
2 years in a row.
Yeah, Rhea versus Nia, I think, is pretty much the obvious title match for the chamber.
Yeah.
That would be a huge win for Rhea, because like Nia Jax is the way she's been booked. I love that she's doing the Yokozuna Banzai drop as her finisher because that fits her. It's like it looks devastating.
Turns out, if Triple H would have just been involved a long time ago, Nia probably would have been fine. But who knows? Who really knows?
Let's see. Anything else from Raw? Gunther Kofor was also great. Really good to great matches on this Raw. So it's like, and I love the Becky promo making it clear that she's gonna find a way to get her title match with Rhea. That's my girl. She's gonna go for it. So good Raw. It was a good solid Raw with the Fallout Rumble.
Really solid Raw.
Yep. And
here's the last thing I wanted to play as far as that Raw is concerned. Give me a second. Becky posted this. So there's a little cool 2-minute clip, and then we can kind of wrap up NXT
this is great.
And AEW really quick. This is really good. I have to share this.
No. Yeah,
can't even say.
Yeah, it's like I love how it's like she's all down, she's eating chocolate. He's like, "What are you doing, eating chocolate?" And then I love how it's like, he's just like, he goes full KO mode. What are you doing?
Right.
It wakes her up. It's great.
Shout out to Zubaz Pants.
Yeah. This wasn't posted WWE. This is something Becky posted to.
Right.
So
Becky did this.
Yeah, I love how she labeled it that it's KO was basically like being Mickey to her Rocky,
Right.
getting her pumped back up.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the bit at the end there after she
Right.
leaves with the chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Kevin Owens. He's so good. It's like, get up. Go.
Go run.
Run.
Hurry.
Then he goes and picks up the chocolate.
That was on the ground. It's good.
If Becky and him came up with that on their own, that just makes it more awesome.
That was solid work. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted that to put a button on Raw, and we'll move on to AEW.
All right, let's recap what happened this week with AEW. AEW did have a Collision show on Saturday night up against the Royal Rumble. The only noteworthy thing from that episode, I would say, is go check out the Steel Cage match main event between FTR and Daniel Garcia against the House of Black. It was pretty epic. So let's get to Dynamite this week. Dynamite opened with Jon Moxley taking on Jeff Hardy in a singles match. Moxley came out on top. He offered a handshake to Jeff after match, but he flipped him off, which Moxley was okay with. During the match, Moxley had been getting into it with some luchadors at ringside from CMLL. Hikarico, Mystico, Mascarado were among them. After the match, after Jeff left, they jumped the barricade and went to attack Moxley. The rest of the Blackpool Combat Club was surprisingly not at the arena. So the likes of Christopher Daniels, Matt Sydal, and 2.0 came out to help Mox fight off the luchadors. Then we had Hangman Adam Page taking on Toa Leona of the Mobile Embassy as part of the Dealer's Choice matches that he and Swerve were had this week, where they were picking each other's opponents. And of course, Hangman came out on top. They showed footage of earlier in the day of the Young Bucks arriving at the arena and getting upset with a crew member for not using their full names of Matthew and Nicholas, and fined him $500. Then we had Wardlow taking on Commander. The Undisputed Kingdom was at ringside, and Adam Cole was at the commentary desk on commentary. Wardlow, no surprise, came out on top. Looks like he may have hurt his knee during the match. Hopefully it's not serious. After the match, the Undisputed Kingdom got in the ring. Strong told Commander that he's now going to pay the price for not accepting the deal he offered on Collision concerning Orange Cassidy. But before they could beat him down, Orange Cassidy, along with the best friends and Rocky Romero, came out to make the save, and the Undisputed Kingdom backed off for the time being. Then Tony Schiavone presided over a sit-down interview between tag team champions Ricky Starks and Big Bill against their challengers next week on Dynamite, Darby Allin and Sting. This was really good good back and forth between all parties, especially between Darby and Ricky. Ricky got on Darby's skin and almost came to blows, but begging him to try to attack him. But Sting kept Darby calm to close out the segment. Then we had Chris Jericho taking on Kyle Fletcher of Don Callis family. Jericho came out on top despite everything that Callis and Powerhouse Hobbs did at ringside. After the match, Konosuke Takeshita appeared on the stage and had a stare down with Jericho. So, they will be having a match on next week's Dynamite. We got a little video package of Deonna Purrazzo explaining the whole ankle tattoo thing that she shares with Toni Storm as they continue to build that feud. An eventual title match, which I'm assuming is probably going to happen at Revolution. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang, Bullet Club Gold, and the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn came out, cut a promo together, and shenanigans. Deanna Prazo then took on Taya Valkyrie with Taya's husband, Johnny TV, at ringside. Tony Storm was on commentary, of course, and again, hilarious, as always. Deanna Prazo picked up the win with her finisher against DeMallo. Then Samoa Joe made his entrance to join the commentary team for the main event. Swerve came out. Hangman on the video screen revealed that not only was Swerve's opponent tonight going to be wrestling legend Rob Van Dam, but it was also going to be a hardcore match on top of that. So Swerve took on RVD in a hardcore match, and of course Swerve came out on top. After the match, Heyman came down to the ring, and he and Swerve exchanged words to set up that they will face each other in a rubber match, Hangman vs. Swerve number 3. This time there's big stakes because whoever wins will get to face Samoa Joe for the AEW championship at Revolution in March. So that's all that happened this week on AEW Dynamite.
All right, nothing against AEW just because of her time constraints. Just kind of do some random notes, and then we can go on to NXT just because it's kind of mania season at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But we still also want to highlight AEW. Basically, Swerve and Hangman should just fight forever.
Yeah,
at this point,
apparently.
Deanna Purrazzo is exactly who we think she is. She is so smooth in the ring; it's ridiculous. Yep. Toni Storm is ridiculous. She's just so good.
She has the human suplex machine.
Yes.
For those who don't know, the legendary ring announcer back in the day, Gordon Soley, he pronounced suplex as suplex. So it's like that. That's an old school reference. I love that. I was like, human suplex machine.
Right. I did really like Samoa Joe just popping for RVD the whole match. Like every time he would do a move and just be like he still got it, and then it goes to Samoa Joe and he's just got this like biggest grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's for right now, Samoa Joe is exactly who you need as champion in AEW because he knows exactly how to. He's just so professional, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm so glad that he has the title. Just learn how to. Someone needs to. I don't know how you secure the ticket sales. I just don't know how you do it. I mean, you can make a smaller venue or whatnot, but at the end of the day,
just like,
I don't know what's going on.
At least the crowd was decent for the show, but it's
right.
It's like Tony, book in small arenas, man. It's like the empty seats are not easy to hide when you got that many. So it's like,
right.
It was a solid show.
That's the problem, is because it is a solid show. And yet your ticket sales don't match what it's not like you're putting on this show was fine and it made sense of like why did Hangman face Toa Leona? It's because of the stipulation, so it made sense.
And like Undisputed Kingdom's got to do something, and it's like, and hopefully Wardlow is not seriously hurt. Fingers crossed. But it's just like I think they'd be doing. They're not like. With a group like this, you expect them to be like just like wrecking people and doing beatdowns, and they're not. Every time the best friends come out, they kind of just like, okay, yeah, no. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like you want them to be feared. They want. It's like they got to start like wrecking people.
You got to squash people. You just have to squash people if you want to get this heel.
You want to get the heat, over. Man.
You got to get the heat.
Thankfully Cole's still out there and he's great for, being the mouthpiece while he's, out injured and everything. But it's just like, they got to kick it up a notch with the Undisputed Kingdom to make them feel like more of a threat. Cause right now it's just kind of like, whatever, which is disappointing me greatly.
But do you think are they going to protect Swerve against Samoa and just go with Hangman against Samoa?
That's an interesting question. I think so, because if Swerve faces him now, he's not winning because Joe just won the title, so he's not going to lose. He's not going to lose it that quickly.
No.
So I think Hangman, and plus it makes sense that because like Hangman lost the first 2 times to Swerve, so I think he's winning this one, and and Hangman and Joe will have a good match at the pay-per-view, and then Swerve will get a shot a little bit later. It's like because if he does it now, he's not winning. It's like
But who really? Who knows? I mean, I was really
Yeah.
hoping for a triple threat. Honestly, I was really hoping for a triple threat in that.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do, and this might go to a false finish, and then they say, okay, well, it's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
I mean, they might do that. Who knows? But
Yeah.
if as of right now, you need to protect Swerve at this point, because
Yeah.
once that dude gets the title, he should keep the title for a good 3 to 4 months at least.
He should have a good. If he eventually wins the title, he should have a good run with it. It's like
he's definitely earned it, and he could be the face of AEW easily.
Absolutely.
On that. So, all right. Well, anything else on AEW? Nothing against AEW. It's just where we are in the show.
Even though it was, Collision was up against the Rumble and I didn't watch it.
That FTR match. Yes, good point. That FTR.
Like I said in the recap, check out the cage match from Collision between FTR and Daniel Garcia against House of Black. It was fucking banger. Go check it out because not many people watching that because it's Collision was up against the Rumble, so right. Now not many people saw it because most people were watching the Rumble. Unless you really hate WWE right now, it's like
I don't know how you can other than if
I thought it was a solid show. There was some good stuff. They're obviously building toward stuff, like Deanna versus Tony and who's going to face Joe, and you got Strong versus Orange is locked in for the national title match. Yep. And then of course I like with the Young Bucks being what they're doing with their hero persona right now as the EVPs. I like what they're doing, and also. One of the highlights of the show was the sit-down interview with Sting and Darby facing off against Starks
really
and Big Bill. Great stuff from all of them. It's like Big Bill really impressed me with some of the pro work he was doing there. Some great lines from all of them. Good build for the title match next week, which I expect Sting and Darby to win.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that, and we will wrap it up with NXT.
Yeah, baby. Hey there. All right. I'm back. We're going to recap what happened on this week's episode of NXT. Basically, the go-home show before NXT's Vengeance Day. PLE taking place this Sunday. We opened with semifinals in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams taking on the Latino World Order, represented by Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro. Good match, and Carmelo and Trick came out on top to advance to the finals, where they will face the newly dubbed War Dogs, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. New NXT General Manager Ava told Rich Holland she did not want to put him into a handicap match situation against Gallus, despite his willingness. Lexis King came in, basically trying to suck up to Ava, getting on her nerves, and she decided that Ridge would face Alexis King in a match later in the show. Then we had Roxanne Perez taking on Lyra Valkyria's Psycho Stalker, Tatum Paxley, in a match after what happened last week where Tatum attacked Roxanne. Roxanne got the victory with Pop Rocks. Lyra Valkyria was on commentary during this. After the match, they went to fight some more, but Lyra got in and got Roxanne to back off of Tatum, despite the creepy vibes that Lyra was getting from her, including seeing her talking to a photo of her and stuff like that. Then we had Lola Vice taking on Elektra Lopez, former friends, now enemies. Lola Vice picked up the victory. No surprise, since Elektra Lopez looks to be joining Legado del Fantasma on the main roster on SmackDown. Joe Gacy confronted Dijak in his little corner backstage. That led to a brawl between the two of them that lasted throughout most of the show. It ended up culminating with them taking the fight outside of the Performance Center. And Dijak tossed him into a dumpster off a elevated area. He then told Ava that he wanted Gacy in a no disqualification match at Vengeance Day. Ava didn't want to do it, but Joe Gacy popped out and told her that he's perfectly fine with it. And so the match is on. Alexis King defeated Ridge Holland. Excuse me. He defeated Ridge Holland thanks to a distraction from Gallus, who came out the ringside to try to mess with Ridge. After Lex King left, celebrating his victory. Gallus got in the ring and once again delivered a big beatdown to Holland, and culminating with them doing a little Pillmanization of Ridge's leg in a steel chair. Then we had a segment where Andre Chase, accompanied by Duke Hudson and Riley Osborne of Chase U, coming out to say goodbye to Chase U due to the financial debt problem that he got them into. Duke gave a speech about what Chase U meant to him, how it changed his life. Showed Andre a video package of Chase U highlights over the last 2 years on the show. Really pulled the heartstrings. Before Andre could give a final goodbye, Jacy Jayne and Thea Hale came out. Jane revealed that she had become a believer in Chase U and the friendship they had given her, first through Thea and then through how they embraced her. So she reveals that her plan to save Chase U. She introduces the 2024 Ladies of Chase U calendar women, revealing that they will use the calendar as a fundraiser, as the models came out all over the place. They've already predicted that the sales numbers of the calendar will not only get Chase U out of its debt, but get them back to the promised land. Andre Chase was overjoyed and gave Jacy Jayne a big hug, and she had a smile on her face. So then they mentioned that the calendar would go on sale on Vengeance Day. Then we had Ariana Grace taking on Fallon Henley. Ariana Grace got the victory thanks to some interference from Lash Legend and Shakira Jackson of Metaphor, who Fallon was getting into it in the back earlier. So that looks like a new feud. Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker were chatting backstage. Corbin giving Braun props for his Royal Rumble performance. And Braun called him out for referring to their team as the War Dogs, even though he said he didn't like it. And Braun is happy that it's starting to grow on Corbin. These guys are great together. Then we had Noam Dar defending his NXT Heritage Cup against Von Wagner in a Heritage Cup rules match. Noam Dar came out on top. Robert Stone's kids are at ringside trying to cheer Von on. Noam Dar started talking trash to the kids after the match, which pissed off Von Wagner. He wanted to put Dar through the announce table, but Ora Mensah made the save, and Mensah took the powerbomb through the announce desk instead. And then our main event interview segment, No Match, was a confrontation between Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov ahead of their NXT title match at Vengeance Day. Words were exchanged about the match, and in the end, they shook hands out of respect, but Ilya pulled Trick into a hug really close and said something into his ear that kind of shook Trick a bit. But then Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin sneak attacked the two of them. They went to do a big beatdown on Trick ahead of their tag team match at the pay-per-view, but Carmelo Hayes came out to make the save. The heels left, and Trick and Ilya had a big stare down to close out the show. So that's all that happened this week on NXT.
All right, here's the thing. We ended the show with an interview and not the Golden Goose that defeated someone and have the beatdown. You could have the Tony Schiavone. I'm sorry, we lost. We ran out of time. As Roxanne and Valkyrie could just have like the beatdown, stare down stuff going on. You could have just ended with that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm biased, but you could have ended with your Golden Goose. Yeah, I know she's a prodigy. No, she's the Golden Goose. Okay, that's my thing. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna make it a thing. I don't care. But yeah, I'm gonna keep coming up with bits because there's so much truth behind it, but then it's also like I can't stop. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, it just works so well. It works so well, and the fact that they're probably, as soon as the Dusty Cup is over, Braun's gonna go his way to the main roster, and Baron's gonna be a barren wasteland, all pun intended.
That's why I'm enjoying their pairing right now. I'm loving their interactions and stuff. It's fun stuff. So I'm gonna enjoy the War Dogs as long as it lasts. Yeah, this was not a bad go home show. They could have done a little bit more to me to hype up the pay-per-view, but definitely advanced a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of like. I think I know what's going to happen with this card, but it's like I'm not sure. So we got like 6 matches now. So we got Dijak and Joe Gacy in a no DQ match.
I love that the way they shoot those backstage stuff.
Yeah, they did. They did a good job with that. Yeah. That could go either way. A 6-man mixed tag. The family, Tony Dean, their crew, taking on OTM. We got Obafemi giving Dragon Lee a rematch for the North American title. That should be very cool. Of course, Lyra taking on Roxanne. I think that's going to be match of the night. Outside of like the 3 matches that I think are pretty much guaranteed to bang are Lyra versus Roxanne, the Dusty Cup Finals, Braun and Corbin against Trick and Mello, and Trick versus Ilya. Mm-hmm. I think those 3 matches are the ones to watch for to deliver the goods.
Right. Real quick, Justin, Tori Blonde, thanks for joining us.
Thank
what
you.
Do you think he might have said to Trick?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was thinking about like, maybe I don't know, maybe something similar to what he said to Corbin, where like only the dragon can slay the dragon, or something else, because Trick was really weirded out by whatever Ilya whispered into his ear. He had to I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like looking at his face. So. I don't know. It's like it adds. I like the mystery.
Yeah.
Good question though.
Yeah. But yeah. And Tori, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the doorbell
Josh,
every. We go.
How upset are you going to be if Roxanne loses?
Don't put that thought out there.
I'm just preparing you. I'm just preparing you just in case.
I was in a good mood. I was, the whole time. I was having such a good time. We were breaking down the Rumble. Roxanne was in the Rumble. I had to get over the fact that she didn't win the Rumble. And then, I saw where she won her match, and like her and Valkyrie, and I'm like, cool. All is going to add up to where the Golden Goose.
Sorry, I gotta keep it real.
Wins it, and then you just go and just pour water all over the cake. You did. You just had to do that.
I'm sorry.
You had to do it. I don't want to put that thought in my head. She's going to win it. Or Shawn Michaels goes back to being boycotted. That's just what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. Like it's Roxanne or nothing.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly, it's like
she's just so her and Tiffany are just so naturally gifted as the next generation.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous of how naturally gifted those two are, and they're just so. I know Valkyrie is good. And they do have some solid other women on the roster, but those two are just other than when Cora Jade, but she's unfortunately hurt. But those two are just so much. I know, all bias aside, those two are just so much better on this NXT roster than the other women when it's a stacked roster as it is. Would you agree, or who else am I leaving off?
It's like Roxanne, Tiffany, are amazing. I think that they have all the potential in the world. Also, I think Lyra is getting there. I've become really high on her. I think she's also going to do great. And there's a lot of other people coming up. Like Fallon Henley has really impressed me. They're really giving her. She's getting a good push, and now she's she had a good feud with Tiffany Stratton. She came out on top of that. Now she's getting harassed by the women of Benefor, including Last Legend. So we just see where that's going to go. Let's see. It's
real quick.
Hello.
Hey man, thanks
for joining us.
I think
it's going to be Roman. It's going to be Roman, but he's seriously going to consider Seth. It's like it's going to be, he's going to be kind of like he'll be torn, but in the end he's still going to go with Roman because he's got the WWE title, the original title. It's like the World Heavyweight Championship is cool. Seth's done a great job elevating it, but it's still about being the WWE champion for Cody. It's
finishing the story. The story isn't the belt that was made up since you got back.
Yeah.
The story is the belt that you were going for that you lost, that you shouldn't have to begin with because of bad booking.
Yeah.
That's why, and that is the heel that you're trying to overcome. You beat Seth 3 times in a row, one with the torn tricep. So don't don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this to me.
I know some people still thinking that it's like I choose to remain positive.
Yeah, I choose to remain positive. Yeah.
But here, let me put it this way, real quick. We saw something similar. We talked about it. Cody's only one of 4 people ever to win the Rumble back-to-back. The other 3 people are Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold. Mm-hmm. When Shawn did the back-to-back, Shawn won it in 95. He went to face his bro, Diesel, for the title at Mania. He lost. He won the Rumble again in 96. He went on to face Bret Hart at WrestleMania. What happened? He won.
That was the Iron Man where he had like the zip line, right?
Yep. We've seen it before,
and he went full dick Shawn Michaels, saying, "Get that son of a bitch out of my ring," shit like that.
So, Shawn won the Rumble. He lost the title match at Mania. He won the Rumble again, and the second time was the charm. So it's like that's why I think it's going to happen with Cody this year. It's like it came to me while over the weekend. I was thinking about. I was like, oh wow, that's a really good parallel. That nobody I saw nobody I've seen mentioned. So it's like, I think it should be a fun NXT show. Potential for some really great matches. Should be an overall good show. So,
Ilya, with the way it's going right now, Melo's going to cost Trick the title, right?
I think so. If it turns out that Melo's been playing games all along and it's not Ilya, it's like we'll see. They've done a good job of showing doubt where it's like it looks like Melo and him are okay, but it could be one final swerve. It's like, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can end it on this question.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Oh, jeez.
This is tough. So let me think off the top of my head. You're putting me on the spot. So this changes literally daily.
Yeah.
But basically for me, AJ Styles has never left my Mount Rushmore ever since I saw him in his TNA days. He's always I've loved him so much. I will even though they're 2 different people, they are a pure tag team. So I would put the Dudley Boys on my Mount Rushmore by themselves, like 2 heads on top of each other. Okay. That's what I'm doing. Okay, even though there's gonna be 5 people on Mount Rushmore, but Dudley Boys are 1 to me for that. Then I will have Stone Cold, and my last one will probably the last one's tough because they're interchangeable, but right now. I typically would say Eddie Guerrero, but because of the longevity of his career, unfortunately, he's lasted longer, is Chris Jericho and how much he has changed. I know he's kind of gotten the news and some stuff, but we're just talking about Mount Rushmore on what you've done in the ring. And Chris Jericho, he's reinvented himself so many times and just so good as far as character work and stuff like that. So, yeah. So going back to it, off the top of my head right now, is AJ Styles, the Dudley Boys, Stone Cold, and Chris Jericho.
This is tough. I'm gonna go back a little more old school. I know he's not popular anymore, but wrestling wouldn't be where it is today. I have to have Hulk Hogan on there because I grew up a Hulkamaniac. He was a game changer that helped wrestling go mainstream. It's like WWE wouldn't be where it is without what he did for the brand in the 80s into the 90s. So I have him on there. I have to have Stone Cold on there because he was the key thing of the Attitude Era that helped take it to the next level. The Austin McMahon feud helped them get over the hump with WCW. He was amazing. It's like one of the most popular wrestlers of all time. Still is beloved. Thankfully, he hasn't done stupid things and said stupid things like some other people like Hogan. Yeah,
I mean, I've got Chris Jericho. You've got Hulk Hogan. We're good.
I gotta have Cena on there just because Cena helped keep things going. Even though there was times when people hated Cena, but you can't deny his contribution to help keeping WWE afloat during some rough times in the last in the mid to 2000s, especially when Eddie that's Eddie Guerrero and then the Chris Benoit thing. It's like just like a lot of creative hard times where things were not the best. He kind of like did what he could before he got to Punk and Daniel Bryan. So I got to even give him props for that. And I'm torn between Shawn and Brett, but if I had to go, as much as I love Brett so much, I'd have to go Shawn just because Shawn had a longer contribution to WWE than Brett. In the long run, it's like especially when if he hadn't done his comeback in the after his back injury in the early 2000s, and because when he came back, that run he had from when he came back all the way through the Undertaker matches at Mania, it's like he was on another fucking level.
Unfortunately, Brett didn't. That's always my argument why I put Shawn over Brett is because Brett never had that Undertaker match.
And it's like,
Brett still I think is a better technician, but
Brett's still one of my favorites of all time. I consider him one of the best of all time. It's like but I if I had a fifth spot, I would put Brett there. But if I had to push comes to shove between the two of them, I'd give the edge to Shawn just because he had a longer body of work in WWE, especially in his second run after he came back from the injury and also cleaned up his life. Found God, and became a better person. And look where he is now. It's like he's done a fantastic job of revitalizing NXT, taking over from Triple H. So it's NXT's gotten much more enjoyable again. It's not like the insane awesomeness of like Black and Gold.
Black and Gold era is
still going to be special, but the NXT right now is getting back into a good groove. So,
great question, and we're in it. We're kind of in the show, so we'll kind of end with this. So we go live as of right now. Everything we still try to keep it updated as much as we can, but we go live on Thursdays 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. We basically will go over as far as our structure, we do it once a week. We do it, and we kind of go over, as you see above you, is we do the news of the news that's happened. And we basically do our schedule is we go from SmackDown on Friday to that Thursday. So that's basically the news cycle that happens between that SmackDown. So starting tomorrow, our news cycle starts of what's going to be our show. So and obviously with wrestling, why we love it so much is it never stops. Dirt sheets always circulate. Stuff happens every day. So therefore we kind of come up with news cycles. Sometimes we have, hey, WWE's going to overseas. That's the big news cycle. Or, unfortunately Bray Wyatt passed away. Like there's different type of news that happens. So we'll do that. If there's a pay-per-view, we'll go over it. Obviously we did the Royal Rumble. Typically we'll try and do a live stream. We did our live stream for the Royal Rumble. That was the first one we did. But we'll try and keep doing the big ones. Now we might not do a live stream for every single one of them, but basically at least the big two, we'll try and do WrestleMania for this, but we'll try and work the kinks out on that to go live. It just depends on what our schedules are. So either one of us will go live or both of us will. We haven't figured that out, but some we're trying to get it worked out for WrestleMania to go live and do a live stream, watch along with that. But then we just break down SmackDown, Raw, AEW. We do AEW as a collective. So if there's something that happened on Rampage and Collision, we'll kind of group that up, but mainly we just kind of go over Dynamite because that's the main storyline driven show. And then we'll end with NXT and talk about Roxanne Perez the whole time. Yeah, nothing else. Just Roxanne Perez. No, on that. So yeah, thanks. Please like all that fun stuff. And thank you for joining us.
Yep, thanks for joining us
on that. And Justin, any other final thoughts?
No, just Rumble's fun times. And looking forward to Vengeance Day this weekend. See what this has been making to be a really good show for NXT. So we'll see which matches deliver. Yeah,
for sure. You you've got Roxanne Perez on the show, so it can't be bad.
It's already a win.
Right.
No, it's like I'm really hoping her and Lyra steal the show, man.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, thank you all for some of the people. DMTZ and was it your buddy James
James Irish
and Tori
me.
Blanc, so some of the newbies that have joined us. Thank you so much, and obviously all the ones that have
Our
already.
buddy Tushka was here, who has
Yeah,
been
our buddy
sick
Tushka.
lately. I'm glad he's feeling better, thankfully. He was sick like a dog for the last couple of days.
So thank you all. Our boy GIF, what the heck? You know, you're always here. At least do one cool comment. So yeah, I'm gonna call you out. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. It's our show. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
So but anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. If anything, join there's some links below, but you can join the Patreon if you want to help out or anything like that. We basically when you join the Patreon, the perks of it is you can kind of create your own show within this channel. If you come up with a structure and everything like that, we kind of help you out as far as kind of getting into the online business and anything like that. I mean, kind of the same thing with Justin here. And I mean, we've talked about this for years about doing a wrestling show, and we've been doing it for seems like a year, but it's not been that long. But it feels like we've been doing it for a while. And then also, you can follow us on all follow the Ruckus and all that. We also have our own what they call the Discord, which you can join. It's basically free to join on all that. If you want to leave anything to help us out with production or anything like that, we're trying to grow the channel as far as getting better production and all that stuff. So if you want to leave a Streamlabs, that'd be so grateful. Like, subscribe, ring the doorbell, all that fun stuff. As my boy Bobby Burger says, join the rocket ship. We're going to the moon, and we want you all to be part of the journey. So thank you all so much. We did it. The Royal Rumble. It happened. Now hopefully Cody can finish his story.
Yes.
But anyway, it's always a pleasure, and we will see you all next time.